Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. Geeky Sparkle's sitting this video out. She's gonna be sitting out the next couple of videos. She's kind of busy today, but we're gonna talk about the situation with Twitter with Elon Musk and Apple and Google. They're having a conniption fit over Twitter. They said that new Twitter 2.0, now with a little extra spice, Elon Musk's version of Twitter violates their store policies or whatever. We know what this is about, right? They basically are threatened, I believe, by Elon Musk, especially since he was saying to Google, hey, we're going to turn Twitter into a YouTube competitor. So if they delist Twitter from the App Store, like Parler, can you imagine that? It's going down the path of Parler. If they do that, he's talking, he'll just go start a phone company, make his own damn phones. And you know the guy will do it. He absolutely positively will do it. And we're entering a new phase of the tech wars here, and we're starting to see exactly how political Silicon Valley actually is. And I mean, this is very much like the utility conglomerates, all of that. All these plucky little startups from a couple of decades ago have become entirely too big for their britches. And it'll be interesting to see how they react to someone who actually could be a legit competitor. Very few people could compete with a Google or an Apple in this day and age, but the world's richest man absolutely could do it. I don't know how well he'll do it, but he can do it. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Guys, over 281,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Coming from Gizmodo, we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about Wil Wheaton losing his shit on Elon Musk too, because why the hell not? But first, coming from Gizmodo, Musk says he'll make his own phones if Apple and Google deplatform Twitter. I certainly hope it doesn't come to that, but yes, if there is no other choice, I will make an alternative phone. I mean, are we getting to the place now where we talk about parallel economies? And I know a lot of YouTubers have been talking about parallel economies. Are we there? I mean, is this it? Are we going to have, blue phones and red phones, blue platforms and red platforms? I mean, why don't we just freaking divide the country down the middle while we're at it? Actually, no, it'd be the East Coast, the West Coast, and then that'd be like one country, and then all of the middle would be another country. That'd be kind of awkward. To jump over the flyover states to get to the other part of your country, wouldn't it? Twitter's new ruler, Elon Musk, makes so many pronouncements on the platform, it's hard to keep track. This week alone, remember they love Twitter? This week alone, Musk pulled Twitter users over whether he should provide general amnesty to suspended accounts and got into a public fight over whether the disgraced founder of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, owns part of Twitter. On Friday, Musk was at it again, telling people he may make an alternative phone to face off against Apple and Google. The tech billionaire's comments were made naturally in a response to a tweet directed at him by conservative podcaster and former OANN host Liz Wheeler. On Friday afternoon, Wheeler tweeted that Musk should make his own phone if Apple and Google decide to kick Twitter off their app stores. Twitter's future in Apple and Google app stores has been a hot topic lately, given Musk's commitment to free speech as long as it doesn't offend him. And lacks content moderation. God forbid we let people speak their minds, right? If Apple and Google boot Twitter from their app stores, Musk should produce his own smartphone. Half the country would happily ditch the biased, snooping iPhone and Android. The man builds rockets to Mars. A silly little smartphone should be easy, right? 3 hours later, Musk told Wheeler he would build his own phone if Twitter got banned from Apple and Google's app stores, the official gateways to iPhone and Android devices across the globe. And what might have been an homage to Musk, who loves polling people on Twitter, Wheeler started a poll of her own, asking people if they would use the Telon phone. They probably just call it the X phone or some shit like that. As of the time of publication, yes was the leading response with 56% of the votes. Certainly hope it does not come to that. But yes, if there is no other choice, I will make an alternative phone. Now that sounds like an empty threat from some people. It would be an empty threat. But we know damn well that, again, this is a guy who builds rockets and cars. He absolutely could make smartphones. Now, I don't know what kind of market penetration there would be. I mean, there would have to be a hell of a lot of marketing behind that. But if it gets to the place of being absolutely ridiculous where Apple and Google delist Twitter, which I never thought I would say. But, here's the thing. They're talking about his failures with the Tesla Semi and the Cybertruck. And anyway, here's the thing. And I've said before, you cannot overstate what a loss Twitter was to the left-wing media cabal. Like it to them, that's like that was it, man. That was a critical node. Twitter is where all of this nonsense, horseshit bullshit that we've been dealing with for the last 6 to 8 years, the cancel culture and the right thinking and the censorship and all of it. It's where it started. It's where it breeds. And it came from Tumblr, right? It came from Tumblr. Before that was LiveJournal, but they didn't have the platform. So they migrated from LiveJournal to Tumblr, which normies didn't go to Twitter, which had some mainstream influence. And mostly Twitter is where journalists and media people go to kibitz, right? And because of that Tumblr gossipy, backstabby, catty mindset came over to Twitter, and it got intermingled with some far left politics and some Marxism and some all of this jazz. And the next thing you know, all these media outlets are spitting out hit pieces on celebrities that weren't right thinkers. They were, threatening people with negative press if they didn't toe the line and say the right things, post the right number of black squares on the right day or whatever. Who doesn't want to wear the ribbon? Why aren't you wearing the ribbon? You have to let everybody know exactly what your company thinks. And you have to say the right things. And everybody became so terrified of each other. It was all lockstep, and it has continued for 5 or 6 hellish years on Twitter. And again, it's journalists taking tweets, turning these tweets into articles when the real world doesn't even care about Twitter. But they made the real world care about Twitter because, well, they tweeted this thing 10 years ago. Oh, it must be super important if they did that. No, the real world doesn't give a shit about Twitter, but Twitter was being used as a weapon. It was being weaponized to attack people, to try to weed out the wrong thinkers, weed out anybody that might be problematic. And it all kind of intermingled with even payment processors like PayPal, which Elon Musk was heavily involved in. Got intermingled with PayPal. And if you said the wrong thing on Twitter, you'd get your PayPal banned and all this other nonsense. In Silicon Valley, which used to be full of a bunch of rebels, became the most ridiculous, conforming groupthink hug box on the planet. And they've got entirely too much control. Silicon Valley has too much control. So I would love to see somebody start a legit competitor to Apple and Google. But so we don't know what's going to happen with this. According to Inc., Twitter is on a collision course with Google and Apple, says former safety chief. And it's because they don't like the fact that he's allowing freer speech. Now, he's not allowing completely free speech, as we've seen on Twitter already. There are some things that are verboten you're not allowed to say or whatever. He's not letting Alex Jones back on the platform. He says because of, the situation with the kids in Connecticut that got killed, he's like, I don't want them on my platform. So they're also trying to make sure that they vet celebrities and politicians better than they do just normies who pay for Twitter Blue, which I agree with. I think there should be different badges. I do agree that there should be different badges. But yeah, they're talking that they might pull it down. So they're basically treating Twitter like they treated Parler, and they were trying to say Parler was responsible for January 6th or whatever. And now they're like, well, Elon Musk is free speech. There's going to be another January 6th if we don't get rid of Twitter. And really, it's just salt. It's just salt. Pure and simple. It's salt because they lost. They lost Twitter, which is the most critical node right now. And you're going to find out that Twitter has an inordinate amount of influence. It's basically a dozen people with a megaphone. Not more than that, obviously, right? You've got a relatively small group of people with a big ass megaphone, right? And they've been screaming for years, and everybody thought that this was what the country thought. This is whatever. And here it was just Hollywood and Silicon Valley and a relative handful of people determining the tone for everything. And everybody's tired of it, including other people in Hollywood. I mean, I can tell you, we talk to people in Hollywood who are living in fear of getting canceled, who are afraid to say the wrong thing on social media. Some of them have just quietly noped out from social media. But there's so many people right now in Hollywood who are afraid of their peers, just like in comics, they're afraid of their peers. Animation, they're afraid of their peers. And again, it's a handful of people wielding Twitter like, a mace, like a halberd. I like halberds, right? Using it as a weapon against their peers to keep, control of the situation. Wil Wheaton, who got pissy and quit Twitter like years ago, is going on this really dramatic, really overly dramatic tangent. I mean, this, again, he's not on Twitter that I know of, but this is how important Twitter is to him, that he has to come out of the woodwork and complain about Elon Musk. This is unbounding in the comics. They put it together. But Elon Musk basically said Trent Reznor is a pussy for quitting Twitter. I agree. I thought Trent Reznor, of all people, would be like, yeah, hell yeah, man. Free speech. We're seeing this more and more. I mean, freaking Dee Snider became a pussy during the pandemic. Like all these rock stars, all these people that were supposed to be counterculture are all toeing the line. These are people we actually looked up to. Basically, these guys made guys like us because we grew up listening to their music, watching their TV shows, reading their books. We talk about Kevin Smith turning into a pussy, crying all the time, right? We are all Kevin Smith's unwanted children. Like, we learned from him. He set the tone in the 90s. And 90s kids, we watched Kevin Smith. We listened to Trent Reznor. And then surprise, surprise, a couple of decades later and everyone's gone soft. Everybody's like, just fucking listen. 9 Inch Nails is a new Lawrence Welk, right? I mean, that's basically where we're at right now. It's like, fuck this. This is ridiculous. So, So, of course, Musk calls out Reznor and we got Wil Wheaton, who has to go into some freaking ridiculous, like, God, I used to like Wil Wheaton too. What the hell happened to you? This is Wil Wheaton's big long post because he can't put it on Twitter because he quit Twitter years ago and he went to Pillow Space or something. Is that going to be problematic? Are we going to get that My Pillow guy? Is he going to buy Pillow Fort? No, Pillow Fort. It's called Pillow Space is something else. Pillow Fart. We should start a site called Pillow Fart. But yeah, we should get the Pillow guy. He should buy Pillow Fort. That'd be funny. Anyway, Wil Wheaton, blue check. There we go. I cannot fathom the emptiness, insecurity, and insatiable need for attention and validation. Why are you writing this, Will? The staggering arrogance, the malevolence, and total void of human experience that is Elon Musk. He's the richest man on the planet. You can't go anywhere or do anything without interacting with something he's part of in some way. I don't know. I was vaguely aware of him until a couple of years ago. There are literal millions of people who uncritically worship him in spite of overwhelming evidence that he's a douchebag. Guess what? Most people at the top of the ladder are douchebags in some way, or you don't get to be the boss by being nice. Well, this is why nobody listens to you, because you're not really the boss of anything anymore. Some of them, but you are a douchebag. Some number of them will come after me as they come after anyone who points at their naked emperor. They'll spend entire days going after me and people like me slavishly serving a man who does not even know they exist. Pretty sure he knows we exist. They are his army of fools, uncritically serving his every whim, and it still isn't enough. Shut up, Wesley. Just what the fuck? I mean, this is just, seriously. He can have any material thing he wants. He will never be happy or satisfied. He has no real friends. Every single person around him is either a viper, a parasite, or both. The same could be said of anybody in Hollywood there, Will. So what does he do? He bullies and threatens and harasses and trolls and behaves like the weak, scared, insecure child he's always been. No, I think he's sick of shit. Remember, not too long ago, Elon Musk was one of you. You all liked Elon Musk, and then you turned on him. And he's sick of this shit, and he is the richest man in the world, so he's like, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. You want to see something funny? I'm going to buy Twitter because I know, as the richest man in the world, I know what Twitter means to y'all. So I'm going to buy it and I'm going to turn it into Parler 2.0. And we're going to see how you like them apples. How you like them apples there, Will. That's a tragedy for him, but it's dangerous for us. He doesn't care what he destroys or who he hurts as he chases this existential thing he cannot have. He bought a fucking website, a little perspective. He just bought a fucking website that was a garbage site to begin with. You're not even on it, or are you? How many old accounts do you have, Will? You're not even on it anymore. You know the saying, hurt people. He's a hurt person who's hurting our society, making people I care about, let's say. The consequences of this man's midlife crisis are global, and that terrifies me. Sometimes it's good to be scared. Keeps you on your toes. But really, it's just a guy with entirely too much money and a wicked sense of humor, and someone who has run out of give a shit, just spending billions of dollars, way too much money, billions of dollars, buying a website that you and your friends gave entirely too much importance to. He should have got Tumblr. He could have bought a Tumblr for like $3 million. That's all it sold to WordPress for. It was completely worthless. Hell, I could have bought Tumblr. I could have gotten the money to buy Tumblr. Wouldn't that be funny? One of these days. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.